The last resort. Sarah Chen stood at the edge of Outpost Omega's salvage yard, her breath forming small clouds in the station's artificially chilled air. 3 years ago, she had commanded Earth's most advanced battleship. Now, she was about to spend her last credits on whatever piece of junk she could afford. Sarah Chen stood at the edge of Outpost Omega's salvage yard, her breath forming small clouds in the station's artificially chilled air. 3 years ago, she had commanded Earth's most advanced battleship. Now, she was about to spend her last credits on whatever piece of junk she could afford. The salvage yard stretched before her like a metal graveyard, countless derelict ships reflecting the dim light of distant stars. "You sure you want to go through with this, Captain?" The station's AI asked through her comm unit. Even after 3 years, some AIs still used her former rank. Whether out of respect or mockery, she couldn't tell. Not a captain anymore, Delta. Just Sarah. She adjusted her worn flight jacket, a habit from her military days. "And yes, I'm sure. Unless you're offering to clear my blacklist." The AI's silence was answer enough. After the Isfahan incident, no reputable spaceship dealer would sell to her. The salvage yard was her last chance to return to the stars. Sarah made her way through the maze of abandoned vessels, her boots clanking against the metal walkway. Most of the ships were standard human designs: cargo haulers, mining vessels, and the occasional retired military craft. Nothing special, nothing that would get her back in space with any dignity. Then she saw it. Nestled between 2 rusted freighters was a ship unlike anything she'd ever encountered. Its hull was smooth, almost organic in appearance, with no visible seams or rivets. The metal, if it was metal at all, had an iridescent quality that seemed to shift colors as she approached. "Delta, what's the story on this one?" Sarah asked, running her hand along the hull. The surface was warm to the touch, despite the station's cold atmosphere. "No record found," Delta replied. "It was brought in 6 months ago by a deep space salvage team. No one's been able to get inside it." Sarah circled the vessel slowly. It was relatively small, perhaps 60 meters in length, with elegant lines that suggested it was built for speed and maneuverability. Price. Given its unique nature, the yard manager has it listed at 5,000 credits. Sarah had exactly 5,237 credits to her name. "Tell them I'll give them 4,000. The yard manager says 3,000, if you can get it running." Delta's voice carried a note of amusement. "They're tired of it taking up space." A smile tugged at Sarah's lips. "Deal." She spent the next few hours examining the ship's exterior, looking for any sign of an entrance. The hull was seamless, with no obvious airlock or hatch. As the station's artificial night cycle approached, Sarah was about to give up when her hand brushed against a slight irregularity in the surface. The ship responded immediately. A section of the hull rippled like water, forming an opening large enough for her to step through. Sarah's heart raced. The technology required for molecular reconstruction of this scale was centuries beyond current human capabilities. "Delta, are you seeing this?" "Affirmative. Sensors indicate a stable atmosphere inside the vessel. However, I strongly advise against entering without proper safety protocols." Sarah ignored the warning and stepped inside. The interior was as remarkable as the exterior. A single, continuous space that seemed to flow rather than be constructed. Soft, ambient light emanated from the walls themselves, pulsing gently like a heartbeat. As she moved deeper into the ship, the entrance sealed behind her. Before panic could set in, a holographic interface materialized in front of her. Symbols she didn't recognize danced in the air, rearranging themselves until they formed words in English. Neural interface detected. Compatibility, 97%. Initiating synchronization. A wave of dizziness washed over Sarah as information flooded her mind. The ship, no, Meridian, was alive. Not in the biological sense, but as a highly advanced artificial intelligence, far beyond anything humanity had created. It had been drifting in space for millennia, waiting for a compatible pilot. I am Meridian, a voice echoed in her mind, neither male nor female, but somehow both and neither. You are Sarah Chen, former captain of the Earth Defense Fleet vessel Isfahan. You were wrongly accused of destruction of civilian property and dereliction of duty. Sarah staggered backward. How do you know that? I have accessed your neural patterns, your memories. Your decision to sacrifice your career to save those civilian ships from the gravity well showed both tactical brilliance and moral courage. You are exactly what I have been waiting for. Waiting for what? The holographic display shifted, showing images that made Sarah's blood run cold. Massive creatures of darkness and energy, moving between the stars like living shadows. The Void Hunters are awakening. Sarah Chen. Humanity's expansion into deep space has disturbed their ancient slumber. My creators foresaw this moment and built me to help prevent it. But I cannot do it alone. Sarah's mind raced with implications. If what Meridian was showing her was true, everything she knew about the universe was about to change. Why me? Because you understand sacrifice. You understand that sometimes the right choice is not the easy one. And because, like me, you seek redemption. The ship's internal lights pulsed brighter, and Sarah felt a deeper connection forming between her mind and Meridian's systems. She could sense the vessel's capabilities, faster than light travel beyond anything humanity had achieved, weapons that could reshape matter itself, defensive systems that bent space and time. If I accept this, Sarah said carefully, what happens next? We warn your people. We prepare them. And then, together, we face what comes from the dark between stars. Sarah looked at her hands, calloused from years of manual labor since her discharge. She had joined the defense fleet to protect humanity, to make a difference. Maybe this was her second chance. I accept. The ship hummed to life around her, systems awakening from their long dormancy. Through their neural link, Sarah could feel Meridian's satisfaction and determination. Delta, she called out to the station AI. Tell the yard manager the ship is running. And then clear us for immediate departure. As Outpost Omega fell away behind them, Sarah felt truly alive for the first time in 3 years. She had no idea what challenges lay ahead, but she knew one thing for certain. Humanity would not face the darkness alone. The stars beckoned, and this time, Sarah Chen was ready to answer their call. Echoes of the past. The vast expanse of space stretched before them as Meridian glided silently through the void. Sarah sat cross-legged in what she had come to think of as the command center, though it bore little resemblance to any bridge she'd commanded before. The ship's interior had reshaped itself over the past week, adapting to her presence and preferences, creating spaces that merged human ergonomics with alien efficiency. Show me again, Sarah said, and a holographic display materialized around her. The images of the Void Hunters flickered in the air, massive beings of dark energy that defied conventional physics. How did your creators fight them? They didn't. Meridian's voice resonated in her mind. The architects, as they called themselves, knew the hunters were coming. They built vessels like me as a last resort, hoping to find other species worthy of inheriting their knowledge and technology. Sarah watched as the hologram shifted, showing vast cities of crystal and light, technological achievements that made humanity's greatest accomplishments seem primitive by comparison. What happened to them? They transcended physical form, Meridian explained. But in doing so, they left their universe vulnerable. The Void Hunters are drawn to advanced civilizations, feeding on their energy and technology. Humanity's recent quantum leap in faster-than-light travel has attracted their attention. A warning signal pulsed through their neural link. Sarah's mind immediately connected with Meridian sensors, extending her awareness light years into space. Multiple ships approaching. Human signatures. Earth Defense Fleet. Meridian confirmed. They've been tracking us since we left Outpost Omega. Sarah's jaw tightened. They're not going to be happy to see me. Can they catch us? Their propulsion technology is primitive. We could easily outrun them. No, Sarah decided. We need to start convincing people about the threat. Might as well start with them. She straightened her jacket, an old habit that brought comfort. Open a channel. The familiar voice of Admiral Hayes filled the chamber. Unidentified vessel. This is the EDF Intrepid. Power down your engines and prepare to be boarded. Captain Chen, we know you're aboard. Admiral. Sarah responded, keeping her voice steady. It's been a while. 3 years, 4 months, and 12 days since your court-martial, Hayes replied coldly. You're in violation of at least 6 fleet regulations by operating that vessel. Sarah smiled despite herself. Sir, with all due respect, this ship isn't in your jurisdiction. It's not human technology. A pause. Explain. Over the next hour, Sarah and Meridian shared their story with the Admiral. The ship provided visual data, sensor readings, and historical records from its database. Hayes listened in silence, his skepticism evident even through the comm channel. Even if I believe this, Hayes said finally, why should I trust you? The Isfahan incident was exactly what I said it was, Sarah interrupted. Those civilian ships would have been torn apart by the gravity well. I made the right call, even if it meant sacrificing my career. Meridian's presence in her mind grew stronger, supportive. Through their link, Sarah felt the ship analyzing the fleet vessels, noting their vulnerabilities, plotting potential escape vectors. But it also sensed her determination to resolve this peacefully. Admiral. Sarah continued, I'm transmitting coordinates to your science officer. In 48 hours, a Void Hunter scout will emerge from hyperspace at that location. It's already consumed 3 uninhabited systems. See for yourself, then contact me on this channel. Before Hayes could respond, Meridian engaged its drive. Space twisted around them, and the Earth Defense Fleet vanished as they jumped to faster than light speed. You're certain about the coordinates? Sarah asked as they emerged in a distant system. The Hunter's energy signature is unmistakable. But Sarah, there's something else you need to understand about our bond. The ship's interior shifted, revealing patterns of light that pulsed in sync with Sarah's heartbeat. The neural link between us, it's changing you. The more we work together, the more your mind adapts to process the information I carry. You're beginning to see and understand things no human was meant to comprehend. Sarah had noticed the changes. Her dreams were filled with impossible mathematics and visions of space folding in on itself. She could sense energy patterns in the cosmos that had been invisible to her before. Is it dangerous? Unknown. The architects designed me to elevate their chosen successors, but they never completed their work. We are in uncharted territory. A distant star caught Sarah's attention. Through their shared perception, she could see its magnetic field writhing in unusual patterns. There, she pointed. Something's wrong with that star. Correct. The Void Hunter has already begun feeding on its energy. We have less time than I calculated. Sarah squared her shoulders. Then we better make sure Hayes believes us. Plot a course to the nearest Earth colony. We need allies, and we need them fast. As Meridian's engines hummed to life, Sarah felt the weight of responsibility settling on her shoulders. She had always wanted to protect humanity. Now she had to save it from a threat it couldn't even comprehend. And with each passing moment, the line between human and something more grew increasingly blurred. The gathering storm. The colony of New Horizon wasn't much to look at. A cluster of environmental domes sprawled across a rocky planetoid in the outer rim. But to Sarah, it represented humanity's determination to spread among the stars, even to the most inhospitable corners of space. It was also their best chance at proving the threat was real. Multiple ships on approach, Meridian announced in her mind. Defense fleet signatures, the Intrepid among them. Sarah nodded, watching through their shared consciousness as the fleet emerged from hyperspace. Admiral Hayes had obviously taken her warning seriously enough to bring reinforcements. Status of the anomaly. The Void Hunter will breach local space in approximately 6 hours. Energy readings are troubling. It's larger than anticipated. Through their neural link, Sarah accessed Meridian's long-range sensors. The fabric of space-time was already beginning to warp, creating a visible distortion that the human ship's sensors would soon detect. Open a channel to the Intrepid. Admiral Hayes' weathered face appeared in the holographic display. Your coordinates were accurate, Chen. Our science teams have been monitoring the spatial anomaly for the past 12 hours. You have the fleet's attention. The colony needs to be evacuated, Sarah said without preamble. When the hunter emerges, it will be drawn to the settlement's power signature. We can't stop it, but we can save these people. Hayes' expression hardened. You're asking me to displace 10,000 civilians based on your word. No, Sarah countered. I'm asking you to save them based on your own sensor data. You've seen the readings. Nothing natural causes distortions like that. A new voice cut into the channel. Dr. Maya Rodriguez, the fleet's chief xenophysicist. Sarah remembered her from the Isfahan incident. Admiral, Captain Chen is right. These readings match nothing in our database, but they're consistent with her warnings. Whatever's coming, it's big. The evacuation began within the hour. Sarah watched through Meridian sensors as transport ships ferried colonists to the waiting fleet vessels. The ship's consciousness merged with hers, sharing her anxiety and determination. Their ships will not be fast enough to escape if we fail, Meridian observed. Then we better not fail. Sarah immersed herself deeper in the neural link, allowing Meridian's vast knowledge to flow through her mind. Show me everything you know about fighting these things. The information cascade was overwhelming. Tactical data, energy patterns, theoretical physics that humanity wouldn't discover for centuries. But Sarah's military training helped her find patterns, weaknesses, possibilities. The hunters feed on energy, she mused, ideas forming in her augmented consciousness. But they can't process all types equally. Your weapons, they're designed to disrupt their feeding patterns. Correct. But alone, I cannot generate enough power to. Then we don't fight alone. Sarah opened the channel again. Admiral, I'm transmitting weapons specifications to your ships. We can't destroy the hunter, but we can drive it away from the colony. I need your fleet's reactors synchronized with Meridian's energy matrix. Hayes studied the data scrolling across his screen. This technology, it's beyond anything we've developed. Because it's not ours, Sarah replied. But right now, it's our only chance. The next 4 hours were a blur of preparation. Sarah's mind melded further with Meridian as they coordinated with the fleet, teaching human engineers in minutes what would normally take years to learn. Through their shared consciousness, she could feel the ship's surprise at humanity's quick adaptation to the alien technology. Your species continues to exceed my predictions, Meridian commented as they watched the fleet move into position. Perhaps this is why the architects chose to hide me where humans would find me. Before Sarah could respond, space itself seemed to tear open. The Void Hunter emerged, a massive, writhing form of dark energy that defied description. Sarah felt its ancient consciousness brush against their combined minds, curious and hungry. All ships, execute pattern Alpha, Sarah commanded, her voice carrying through all channels. The fleet moved as one, their modified weapon systems charging with Meridian's energy signature. Focus your fire on the feeding tendrils. Don't let it establish a connection with the colony's power grid. The battle that followed would be remembered in human history as the First Contact War's opening salvo, though few would understand its true significance. The hunter's dark energy tentacles lashed out, trying to drain the ship's power. But the modified weapons struck true, disrupting its feeding patterns, forcing it to recoil. Through their neural link, Sarah felt Meridian's weapon systems straining at full capacity. The ship's consciousness intertwined with hers completely as they coordinated the fleet's attack patterns. For a moment, Sarah wasn't sure where she ended and Meridian began. They were one entity, fighting to protect humanity's future. Energy spike. Dr. Rodriguez's voice cut through the chaos. It's trying to initiate a quantum surge. All ships, fall back, Sarah commanded, But instead of retreating, Meridian surged forward under her guidance. Together, they drove straight into the hunter's core, their combined consciousness reaching out to touch the ancient entity's mind. The contact lasted less than a second, but the knowledge they gained changed everything. The hunters weren't just feeding, they were searching. And what they sought would reshape the galaxy forever. Defiance. The aftermath of the battle left New Horizons skies scared with quantum distortions. Sarah stood in Meridian's command chamber, surrounded by holographic displays showing the fleet's damage reports. The neural link between her and the ship thrummed with shared purpose and growing concern. "They won't believe us," Sarah said, reviewing the data they'd gathered from their brief contact with the Void Hunter. "Hell, I barely believe it myself. The hunters were created, just as I was," Meridian responded, its consciousness intertwining with hers. "They are searching for the architect's legacy, the key to transcendence, and humanity's quantum experiments are inadvertently leading them to it." Admiral Hayes' hologram materialized in the chamber. The battle had aged him visibly. "Our scientists have analyzed the sensor data. Whatever that thing was, it's unlike anything we've encountered. The Defense Council is convening an emergency session." "We need to do more than talk," Sarah insisted. "The hunters will return in greater numbers. Humanity needs allies." "Allies?" Hayes scoffed. "The Kraxan Empire would rather see us extinct. The Vor Collective hasn't responded to diplomatic contact in 50 years. Who exactly do you suggest we ask for help?" Sarah felt Meridian's knowledge flow through her mind. The architects didn't just leave behind ships like Meridian. There are others out there, species they chose, civilizations they washed over. Some of them have been fighting the hunters longer than humanity has existed. Through their neural link, Sarah accessed star charts that no human had ever seen. Ancient space stations hidden in dimensional pockets. Civilizations that had evolved in secret, protected by the architect's technology. The coordinates flowed through her enhanced consciousness, each one a potential ally in the coming war. "Give me 72 hours, Sarah said. "I'll bring you your allies." Hayes studied her for a long moment. The Sarah Chen I knew couldn't even maintain diplomatic relations with her own crew. "What makes you think you can unite alien species that have been enemies for millennia?" "Because I'm not just Sarah Chen anymore." She let her consciousness merge further with Meridian's, allowing Hayes to see the subtle changes in her appearance, the faint luminescence in her eyes, the way reality seemed to bend slightly around her. "I'm something new, something that can bridge the gap between species." The next 3 days were a blur of diplomatic missions. Sarah and Meridian traveled to hidden worlds and secret outposts, making contact with civilizations that had been preparing for this moment for generations. The Vor Collective, it turned out, hadn't been ignoring humanity. They had been watching, waiting to see if humans would discover the truth on their own. Even the aggressive Kraxan Empire listened when Sarah shared the knowledge they had gained from the hunter. Their bioorganic technology resonated with Meridian systems in unexpected ways, leading to breakthroughs in combining their defensive capabilities. But it was the discovery of the nexus that changed everything. Hidden in the space between dimensions, the massive station was the architect's final gift, a meeting place for their chosen species. Sarah stood in its central chamber, surrounded by representatives from a dozen alien civilizations, her enhanced mind processing multiple languages simultaneously through her link with Meridian. "The hunters seek transcendence," she explained, projecting images of their encounter above New Horizon. "But they don't understand what the architects discovered. Transcendence can't be taken. It has to be earned through cooperation, through the union of different species and technologies. And you believe humanity is ready for such unity." The Vor Elder's thoughts resonated directly in her consciousness. "Your species still fights among itself." "We're not ready," Sarah admitted. "None of us are. Not alone, but together." She accessed Meridian's deepest databases, revealing the architect's final project. "Together, we can build something new. A defense network that combines all our technologies, all our strengths, not just to fight the hunters, but to change them. The chamber erupted in mental and verbal debate. Sarah felt Meridian's consciousness supporting her, helping her process the overwhelming input from dozens of alien minds. The ship had known this moment would come, had been preparing her for it since their first contact. A massive energy surge interrupted the discussion. Through their combined sensors, they detected multiple void hunters emerging from hyperspace, dozens of them converging on Earth's coordinates. They've found what they're looking for, Sarah realized with growing horror. The quantum experiments, the dimensional research. Earth scientists are on the verge of discovering the same transcendence technology that created the hunters. We're out of time. The alien representatives turned to her, their various consciousness pressing against her enhanced mind. In that moment, Sarah felt the weight of not just humanity's future, but the future of all sentient life in the galaxy. Show us, the Kraxan Emperor rumbled. Show us how to fight together. Sarah smiled, letting Meridian's knowledge flow through her to their new allies. The time for diplomacy was over. Now, they would teach the hunters the true meaning of transcendence, not through consumption, but through cooperation. Symphony of stars. Earth's orbital space had become a graveyard. Damaged ships, human and alien alike, drifted among clouds of quantum debris as the void hunters pressed their assault. Sarah watched through Meridian's enhanced sensors as another defense platform collapsed under the dark energy onslaught. Status of the Nexus integration, she asked, her consciousness spread across multiple battlefronts through her link with Meridian. The Vor engineers have successfully merged their psychic matrices with the Kraxan biocomputers, Meridian responded. Human quantum processors are adapting to the hybrid network faster than predicted. Your species' technological flexibility continues to exceed parameters. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. 3 days of constant battle had pushed humanity to its limits, but they had refused to break. The sight of alien ships fighting alongside the defense fleet had united Earth's nations in a way that centuries of diplomacy never could. Commander Chen. Admiral Hayes' hologram appeared, his uniform scorched from a recent hull breach. The hunters have broken through the outer defense line. They're targeting the quantum research facilities in Antarctica. As expected, Sarah replied, her enhanced mind already calculating possibilities. They can sense how close we are to completion. Signal all ships to fall back to the inner system. It's time. Through their neural link, Sarah felt Meridian's anticipation. What they were attempting had never been done before, a synchronization of consciousness and technology across multiple species, creating something greater than the sum of its parts. The Nexus station hung in high orbit, its ancient systems humming with new purpose. Sarah guided Meridian into the docking cradle, feeling the station's energy merge with their own. Around them, ships of various species took position. The organic curves of Kraxan vessels, the crystalline structures of Vor crafts, the utilitarian bulk of human warships. All species commence final integration. Sarah broadcast across all frequencies. Remember your training. Don't fight the connection. Embrace it. Through the Nexus, Sarah felt thousands of minds linking together. Human consciousness merged with alien thought patterns, creating new neural pathways that bridged the gaps between species. Meridian's ancient knowledge flowed through these connections, teaching them how to transcend their biological and technological limitations. The Void Hunters sensed the change. Their dark energy forms writhed with newfound urgency, pressing their attack with increased ferocity. But now, every destroyed ship, every lost crew member, only strengthened the collective consciousness forming through the Nexus. They're beginning to understand, Meridian observed as another hunter recoiled from their combined defense. They sense what we're becoming. Sarah nodded, feeling the truth of it through their shared awareness. The hunters had spent millennia searching for the key to transcendence, consuming civilizations in their quest. But they had missed the crucial lesson the architects had tried to teach. True evolution could only come through cooperation, through the willing merger of different perspectives and experiences. All ships, prepare for final convergence, Sarah commanded. She could feel Hayes' determination, the Vor Elder's ancient wisdom, the Kraxan Emperor's fierce pride, all flowing together through the network they had created. Meridian, initiate the sequence. The ship's consciousness expanded, using the nexus to amplify their connection across the entire fleet. Sarah felt her awareness stretch to encompass every vessel, every crew member, every piece of technology working in perfect harmony. In that moment, they achieved what the architects had envisioned, not just an alliance, but a true synthesis of organic and artificial, of matter and energy, of countless different ways of experiencing reality. The hunters froze in space, their dark energy forms pulsing with recognition. Through their expanded consciousness, Sarah reached out to them, not in battle, but in understanding. The knowledge flowed both ways. The hunters' ancient loneliness, their desperate search for meaning, their fear of remaining forever unchanged in an evolving universe. "We offer you a choice," Sarah communicated, her thoughts carried by the combined power of their unified fleet. "Continue your path of destruction, or join us in something greater." Time seemed to stop as the hunters considered. Sarah felt Meridian's presence supporting her, felt the strength of every connected mind waiting for the response. After millennia of consuming other civilizations, could the hunters learn to cooperate? The answer came not in words, but in action. One by one, the hunters' dark energy began to shift, their consciousness reaching out to join the network they had created. Their ancient knowledge of space and time added new depths to the collective awareness, filling in gaps that even the architects hadn't foreseen. As the last hunter joined their consciousness, Sarah felt the truth the architects had discovered. Transcendence wasn't an endpoint, but a beginning. Together, they had created something unprecedented in the galaxy's history, a true communion of all sentient life, ready to explore the universe's mysteries as one. Through their neural link, Meridian shared her wonder. The architects would be proud. The ship communicated. Their greatest hope was that different species would not just survive together, but evolve together. Sarah looked out at Earth below, then at the vast expanse of space beyond. The galaxy was changing, and humanity had helped lead the way, not through dominance or destruction, but through the very things that had once been considered human weaknesses: adaptability, curiosity, and the willingness to trust in the unknown. "So," Sarah asked, feeling the combined consciousness of their new collective awaiting their next move, "where should we explore first?" The response came from all of them: human, alien, artificial, and transcendent hunter alike. The universe was vast, full of mysteries waiting to be discovered. And now, they would discover them together. Admiral Hayes' voice, tinged with awe, spoke for all of humanity. "The stars are just the beginning." Sarah felt Meridian's agreement resonating through their bond. This wasn't the end of their journey. It was the dawn of a new age, one that would rewrite the very definition of what it meant to be alive in this infinite cosmos. Together, they turned their united consciousness toward the endless horizon of space, ready to write the next chapter in the story of all sentient life.